Okay, so here is a kind of crash course introduction to Blackboard. So if you remember that I showed you before, when you are on the GRCC homepage, if you look down here underneath the big picture, you'll see the link to Blackboard. Since I'm already logged in, it's not going to take me to the login screen, but it's the same login screen as you see for pretty much anything you ever log into. It asks for your username and your password, and then you log in. And remember, it's the same username and password that you use for your GRCC email. And this is the same place you can go to get to that email, at least for the first time. And then I think you can access it just directly through Gmail once you're kind of logged in and everything, at least once. So you can get your email here if you want to, or you can go right into Gmail. So let's go ahead and take a look at Blackboard itself. So once you're logged in, your screen will look something like this. I think I changed my colors, so your colors might be different. But in any case, you can play with yours as well. At personalized page, you have different options that you can choose for, your color scheme, and that's pretty much it now. There used to be more, but they took away all the fun stuff so that it's not too fancy for those who need to use screen readers. That's the basic thing, and for people who need certain types of contrast in order to see correctly. So we don't get all the fun stuff anymore, but it's pretty nice blue. So anyway, you go in and select your class, and then you will have a setup that is, if you're in my class, this is your setup. And if you're looking at another one of your classes, your setup will probably be very similar. Most of the time they come in on the announcement page, and then you have links over to the side. So ours, announcements is always at the top, and then we have assignments, syllabus, discussions, which we're probably not going to use at all, so I might just hide that so it's out of the way. Grades, which I encourage you to check your grades for all of your classes on a regular basis. Instructor information, so if you go here, you can see my instructor information. You have a link, direct link right there to email me. You can see my work phone number and where to find me in the office and when, and just a little note about I prefer the voice messages. I prefer the emails, sorry, to voice messages, but you can always leave a voice message. That's not a problem. It's just if you need an immediate response or a quicker response, it's better to email. And then there are tools. There are all kinds of tools. I used to go through and hide the links for all of the things that you didn't need, but then they keep adding more and more tools, and it takes forever to do all of that. So have fun looking at the tools. Most of them you don't need for this class, but they're there anyway. And then you have a resources folder that doesn't have anything in it, so there's nothing for you to see there. In fact, it may not even show up for you because it doesn't have anything in it. So what's important for you for this class, obviously the syllabus, because remember we said that's the agreement between me and you on what's going to be happening in the class, what the policies and the requirements are, and so you are responsible for knowing what's in there. So if you click there, you have access to the syllabus, either in the color version or in the black and white version right there. So make sure that you have read those if you still haven't. Okay, and then the other two things that will be important to you will be assignments and grades. Let's look at grades first for a second. My screen, it's not going to show you much because I don't have grades for this class, but what you can see is what has been assigned, what columns are in my grade book, and you'll see your own grade over here, which for this first one, the writer's notebook, it should have a check mark to show it's been completed, or it'll still have a dash if you have not completed it. It's a complete incomplete, so there are no points, and it may say that you got a 0 out of 0. Okay, there are no points for it. So that's that's how your grades will be set up in here. And so you should check. And then if there's comments, if I wrote any notes or anything, there will be a little conversation bubble over here. I think it's on this side still, and you can click on that and it'll open up the comments that I have left for you about your work. Okay, so great. So now what you're going to be using quite often is the assignments. So this is where you can see the agendas for the week, and you can see that I've already put up the basic agenda for the coming week, but let's go ahead and look at week 2 since we've done that. So for this, you just click on that link and you are there for the week. So we did not have class on Monday because it was Labor Day, yay Labor Day. And then we did have class on Wednesday, and these are the things that we did. And this is where you find your homework. And I have a separate recording about your homework, so make sure you watch that. Right. So that is basically what you'll be doing in Blackboard. You won't necessarily be doing anything else until you have an essay to submit. And I will be showing you in a different video and in class exactly what you will have to do then for submitting through Safe Assignment, which is our plagiarism checker. Don't worry about that right now though. And I have to do a couple of things before I could even show you that anyway, and I'm not ready to do that. So that's that. So this is basically Blackboard. There's not much to it. It seems confusing at first, but there's not much to it, and really, I mean, you guys don't even have this section down here, which is good, because once you start opening those things, it gets a little crazy. So, there's your introduction to Blackboard, and always ask questions if you have them.